Well, here's the quiet twist. The most expensive debt in a person's life often makes the least noise. No alarms. No flashing red bars. Just a polite monthly minimum that arrives like a calm email and leaves like a whispered apology. You can feel broke while paying everything on time. You can feel responsible while never reducing the principal. You can feel in control while the interest silently grows larger than the things you bought. Picture someone standing on a train platform. The sign says delayed, but no one moves. Everyone just stares at the tracks, not the clock. Debt works the same way. We watch the bills, not the math. Time moves, costs compound, and the train we're waiting for, the debt-free version of us, only gets further away. By the end of this video, you'll understand why small, unglamorous changes to 10 quiet habits free more money than a raise, more calm than a windfall, and more options than any hack. Because the danger isn't loud. It's rhythmic, predictable, comfortable. And that's what keeps you chained. Habit 1. Treating debt like background noise. Ethan once treated his credit card payment like rent. Something that simply existed. No urgency. No deadline. Just another item on the list. But one evening he opened his calendar and gave that debt a name, exit date. Every payday he checked the event, adjusted the payment, watched the horizon move closer. A year later the balance vanished. What surprised him most wasn't the number, it was how light silence felt when the reminder finally stopped pinging. That's the psychology of time. When debt feels infinite, the brain stops fighting it. But when you give it an end date, it becomes real, measurable, defeatable. A countdown is hope disguised as math. Freedom begins when debt stops being a background hum and starts being a temporary guest. Every balance you carry is a story waiting for its ending. Write the last chapter yourself. Because quiet deadlines don't rush you, they steady you. And when you see the date circled on your screen, it becomes a lighthouse guiding every financial choice until you arrive. But the calendar alone isn't enough if your payment is still a whisper. Let's talk about the next leak, the comfort of the minimum. Habit 2. Paying only the minimum. The minimum payment looks like mercy. It feels like safety, proof that you're managing. But minimums are not mercy. They're the lender's strategy. Imagine a $4,000 balance at 22% APR. The statement says, minimum due, $80. You pay it, proud of your consistency. 5 years later, you still owe $2,500 and have already paid over $3,000 in interest. A bill disguised as progress. But raise the payment to $180, just one small decision, and the finish line arrives in 27 months. Half the time, half the cost. Debt doesn't punish the reckless. It punishes the patient. Those who quietly comply, believing time will help, while interest compounds quietly in the corner. Minimums are psychological bait. They give you the satisfaction of doing something without the pain of real change. They trick your mind into thinking movement equals progress. If the payment doesn't bring the payoff closer, it's not a payment. It's rent. Rent you pay to your past self. Freedom comes when you start paying for exit, not existence. But often the reason people stay stuck isn't math, it's emotion. That's where the next habit hides. Habit 3. Using purchases as a pressure valve. Maya worked hard. Too hard. By Friday night, her reward was simple. A small treat order from her favorite store. The package arrived Monday. A new shirt, a temporary relief, a silent addition to her debt. One day she paused. Instead of buying, she opened her banking app. Wrote a note. Today was heavy. I'll buy back tomorrow by sending $30 to my balance. That line became ritual. Her stress payments replaced her stress purchases. Each transfer felt like reclaiming air. You see, debt thrives on emotion. The card isn't financial, it's psychological anesthesia. It fills the void between effort and reward. But every purchase on stress becomes a vote for exhaustion. When you convert emotional energy into payoff momentum, you reverse the current. You stop feeding the loop that keeps you tired and indebted at the same time. The real treat isn't spending, it's sleeping without the weight of owing anyone. And when your emotions are no longer for sale, your finances start healing. But once emotions calm, logic returns. And logic says, not all debt is equal. Some burns faster than others. Habit 4. Ignoring the interest hierarchy. Debt doesn't play fair. A 7% loan and a 26% card may both whisper, but one screams in numbers. Take $1,500 at 26% and $3,500 at 9%. If you split payments evenly, you're being kind, but not smart. Put an extra $150 toward the higher rate first, and you save hundreds in annual interest. Then roll that same $150 into the next one, and suddenly progress accelerates like a snowball rolling downhill. The brain loves fairness. The math loves focus. Interest is gravity, and the steepest hill deserves your first push. This is the debt avalanche method. Pay minimums on everything except the highest rate balance. Tack that one. When it's gone, redirect its payment to the next. You don't need complex spreadsheets or motivational speeches. Just precision. Freedom comes not from paying everything at once, but from paying the right thing first. Once you control the order, you control momentum. And momentum, if you guard it, can carry you further than motivation ever will. But momentum is fragile, especially when lifestyle temptation creeps back in. Habit 5, letting lifestyle creep ride on credit. Oliver got a small raise. For the first time, he felt a bit of space. So he built a rule. 70% of that raise went straight to his debt automatically each payday. 3 months later, his balance graph curved down like a falling wave. Lifestyle creep is subtle. You don't buy more because you need more. You buy because you can. The problem? Every little upgrade comes with interest shadowing it quietly. If every raise becomes new spending, you'll never outrun old debt. Automation beats willpower. Systems save more than effort ever could. If the money leaves your account before your impulse sees it, you win by default. Debt freedom isn't about austerity. It's about control. And control grows when income grows but spending doesn't follow. The raise that pays debt instead of desire buys something better than luxury. It buys time. But too many people postpone that decision. They say, "I'll handle it later." The next habit explains why that's dangerous. Habit 6, waiting for a future richer you. Hope is expensive, especially when it carries interest. A $6,000 balance at 20%, ignored for 18 months because future me will pay it off faster, adds nearly $1,800 in interest, more than enough to fund the very attack you're postponing. Tomorrow doesn't have better math. It just has older debt. The illusion of the future richer self comforts the present one. But that future version doesn't exist until you start building them now. Small payments today matter more than perfect plans tomorrow. Momentum compounds faster than intention. Start where you are. $10, $20, anything. The power isn't in the size, it's in the start. Debt rewards immediacy. Waiting rewards interest. Every month you delay, you pay tuition to procrastination. Start now. Adjust later. Progress loves action, not optimism. Because even the best plan is worthless without structure. And structure begins with visibility. Habit 7, managing by memory instead of a system. Grace used to juggle numbers in her head. Balances, due dates, rates, all floating in mental tabs. She felt on top of it, until a late fee arrived one Friday. The next day she wrote everything on one page. Balance, APR, exit date, autopay status. Every Friday she looked at that sheet for 5 minutes. In weeks, her anxiety faded. The page replaced the noise. Debt thrives in ambiguity. When things stay vague, they stay unpaid. The system isn't fancy. It's freedom disguised as order. You don't need multiple apps or trackers. You just need one visible truth. When you can see your entire debt on a single page, fear shrinks. You can make small, deliberate moves instead of reactive ones. Discipline isn't about effort, it's about design. And once your system holds the chaos, you finally stop mistaking movement for progress. But movement is a tricky thing because it feels so productive. Habit 8, confusing movement with progress. Transfers, refinances, new credit offers, they sound like progress. But often they're musical chairs with interest. A 0% balance transfer for 12 months on $3,200 can be powerful, if you plan the exit. Without an autopay of about $270 a month, month 13 will undo everything. The promotional period ends and the real rate steps in quietly, erasing months of good behavior. Real progress isn't in shuffling. It's in finishing. People chase novelty because it feels like change. But finance doesn't reward excitement. It rewards repetition. Make the transfer. Set the auto payment to finish it before the clock runs out. Then stop touching it. Movement without destination is just noise. Progress is silent, scheduled, boring, and that's why it works. Once you stop chasing excitement, you start noticing the quieter influences, like other people's spending. Habit 9, letting social proof dictate purchases. Noah's friends upgraded their phones together one weekend. Group deal, same model, same case, same pride. He kept his old one, rerouted the $45 a month he would have financed into his credit card balance. 10 months later, that one act erased a debt that had followed him for years. Noah didn't post it. He didn't brag. He just felt lighter. Social pressure is expensive. Debt blooms in the space between who you are and who you want to appear to be. Every comparison carries a payment plan. Every validation costs a percentage rate. Ask yourself before you buy, who am I paying to impress? If the answer isn't my future self, walk away. Freedom doesn't need witnesses. Because the truth is, you don't owe the world an upgraded version of yourself. You owe yourself an unburdened one. And when you stop buying to belong, you start owning your peace. That peace leads to the final habit, the simplest yet most avoided, asking. Habit 10, refusing to negotiate with lenders. Ava was nervous. One phone call felt insignificant against the mountain of interest. But she called anyway. 5 minutes later, her APR dropped from 23% to 17%. The agent said, "Thank you for being consistent." Ava hung up, kept her payment the same, and watched months fall off her timeline. That's it. One call. Silence is expensive. Many people never ask because they assume rejection. But most financial systems are built to keep customers, not lose them. Institutions expect negotiation. They even budget for it. But they only give it to those who ask. Rejection costs nothing. Asking can buy months of freedom. Schedule the call. Script your request. Speak calmly. Then let the new rate work while you live. Freedom rarely arrives from drama. It comes from small, calm, informed action. And once you've practiced all 10 habits, something begins to shift. Not just in your account, but in your mind. That's where the quiet part begins. Financial freedom isn't loud. It's not the clang of a final payment or the confetti of a paid-in-full email. It's the quiet that returns when compounding stops working against you. Debt used to be motion, now it's stillness. Used to be noise, now it's space. If you redirected just $120 a month across these habits, exit dates, above minimum payments, buyback rituals, APR focus, auto-raise matches, early starts, one-page systems, time-box transfers, social opt-outs, and quiet negotiations, in 18 months you could retire multiple balances. Thousands of dollars you once promised away return home. Freedom thrives where attention is simple. Every habit, every small act, every honest call is a line of code rewriting your financial reality. This isn't about money. It's about peace. You don't need perfection. You need rhythm. You need one small promise kept each month until silence replaces interest. Because the sound of a life without debt isn't applause. It's calm. And calm, when protected, compounds too. If becoming debt-free is your North Star, comment freedom below.